This is KCAL News, Los Angeles.
Now at 11:30, desperate pleas from fire victims as the road to recovery hits a major snag. Plus, the beloved Altadena grocery store reopens. We've got reaction from its owners and customers. And local volunteers are setting out for a 3-day homeless count in LA County. How they're taking a new approach this year. Welcome to KCAL News at 11:30. I'm Chris Holmstrom. We're getting a critical update on the debris removal operation in the Palisades burn zone. The cleanup has reached 2 milestones, but there are still some major challenges ahead. KCAL News reporter Tina Patel is in the Palisades with the progress being made.
The EPA began phase 1 of the cleanup in both fire zones in late January. This morning, they announced that they have now gone through 80% of that phase. That's more than 8,000 properties that they have cleared of hazardous materials and lithium-ion batteries. Unfortunately, they say there are about 3,400 properties that are too dangerous for their crews to clear because of the terrain or structural integrity. There might be damaged walls or ceilings that could collapse, so the EPA is deferring those properties to the Army Corps of Engineers, who can use heavy equipment to better handle that kind of work. At a press conference today, it was not clear how much of a delay that could lead to. Local and federal leaders instead focused on the progress that they've been making with cleanup efforts.
The first Palisades property was completely cleared of phase 1 and phase 2 debris removal. We are moving with unprecedented speed and urgency in the Palisades fire burn area, and we want to thank all of our partners who are working in collaboration and partnership to make sure that we are moving with that kind of efficiency.
We also began debris removal on the Pacific Palisades Charter High School, Pali High. That has been ongoing for several days, and it's really exciting for the Palisades community, as we know that is a fixture and a really important building in many lives in that community.
The Army Corps knows that there have been concerns about the fire debris removal process, so they explained a little bit more about that. They said they are sorting debris on site, wetting it down so there's no dust or ash that's going up into the air, and then they are taking the debris into plastic-lined trucks to be taken to landfills and recycling centers around the state. They say it is the state that decides where everything goes. In Pacific Palisades, Tina Patel, KCAL News.
Okay, Tina, thank you so much. Let's go to Altadena now, where they're welcoming back a grocery store that has become a center of hope for the community. The doors reopened for the first time in weeks. KCAL News reporter Cara Fincher is there as people are coming back.
This is one of the few businesses in this area of Lake Avenue that survived the fire. You can see the big sign that went up right afterwards, Altadena Strong, we will rebuild. It's been a beacon of hope for this community. And if we pan across the street, you can see some of the devastation there. Just really difficult, they say, to grasp what has happened to many of their neighbors' businesses. So the owners, the staff here, they say it's hard to describe what it's like to be back.
You can't even imagine the feeling I have because, you know, when we seen all this, we didn't even think that we're going to be here. And it's so amazing. You have 2 structures on each side that are demolished, basically, and we're still standing.
Cashier Linda Wiggins says her family has lived in the area since the 1970s. She did not lose her home, but 5 employees here did. The store's owners had to do rigorous cleaning and testing to reopen. They say they want this store to not only be a place to pick up food essentials as Altadenans return, but also a spot where people can come together. Since the fire, the owners, Jose and Sandra Valenzuela, have staged numerous community events, bringing together families and allowing numerous disaster relief groups to set up in their parking lot, where they've been giving out food and supplies to thousands of people. Jose says today is bittersweet because he misses his neighbors.
The message to our community that we're here, that we're alive, and we're moving forward.
We are having some issues with some of them reopening because of lack of power. And that's something that we have to get Edison to work on more quickly, especially in our business districts, for which there are very few. And as you probably already know, our water districts, for which there are 4 that serve Altadena, were the hardest hit of all of our utilities by the fire.
And they are working on creative solutions to those problems. Obviously, they found some good ones here for Grocery Outlet. We want to leave you with a look at this wide open door. Cara Fincher, KCAL News.
A little bit of hope for the Altadena community. All right, turning now to your weather, taking a live look outside at Long Beach, where it's going to warm up today. It'll be a little warmer than it was yesterday. Let's go to meteorologist Marina Jurica for your next weather forecast. Marina, it's going to be nice and sunny.
It is, Chris, and we are going to continue to see improving temperatures, but Santa Ana's are also returning. So taking a live look now at Mount Wilson Observatory, we can see there's still a little high-level cloud action, but not too much, as we will start to see that sunshine prevail with temperatures in the 50s and 60s. So moving forward with our next weather forecast, we are going to start to see winds kick up today due to a stronger enhanced offshore flow, and that's from an area of low pressure that's in the Pac Northwest. But then Santa Ana's will start to drive in, especially as we head into Thursday and Friday. It is a moderate event, so we could see wind gusts of up to 40 miles per hour in our valley locations, our usual trouble spots, and then up to 50 miles per hour in our mountains. But that will cause us to warm up, and once that ridge really firmly has us in its grasp, we're going to be talking 70s and 80s as we head especially towards the end of the weekend. But right now, we're looking at 70 already in downtown LA, Riverside, Claremont, 73 in Santa Clarita, 60 in Malibu, 59 in Laguna Beach, and we are going to be looking at a wind advisory starting at 6 p.m. tonight for the bulk of our valley locations, a lot of Ventura County as well as Western LA County, and that is through noon Thursday. And looking at our highs for the day, mid to upper 60s for the beaches in LA and OC Metro, and flirting with 80 for the valleys, mid 80s for the Inland Empire. Back to you, Chris.
Marina, thank you so much. Opening statements this morning in the trial of an Orange County Superior Court judge charged with shooting and killing his wife. Judge Jeffrey Ferguson is charged with the murder of his wife, Cheryl, at their Anaheim Hills home in 2023. Prosecutors say the couple had been arguing and Ferguson was drinking when he shot her in the chest with the pistol.
At that point, the defendant took his Glock 40 gun after he'd been drinking, pointed it at Cheryl Ferguson. It's a fully functional gun, as you'll hear in the evidence. Applied 5 pounds of pressure to pull the trigger and shot and killed Cheryl Ferguson.
Ferguson has pleaded not guilty. His lawyer says the shooting was an accident. President Trump and senior advisor Elon Musk are defending their aggressive efforts to slash through the federal government. The two sat down for a joint interview on Fox News, which aired hours after a federal judge in D.C. denied a request from 14 Democrat-led states to block Musk's Department of Government Efficiency from accessing data systems and firing workers at 7 government agencies.
One of the biggest functions of the DOGE team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out.
Gets it done. He's a leader.
But DOGE has made errors. Just last night, the Department of Agriculture admitted it's trying to get people back to work who were accidentally fired. That includes veterinarians and animal health technicians that are working to prevent the spread of bird flu. After being delayed because of the wildfires, the annual LA County homeless count is going on right now. But as KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez explains, volunteers are doing things differently this year.
We've seen several big initiatives to help address homelessness and get people from the streets into shelter or housing, but there is still a lot of scrutiny on how county and city leaders are handling the issue. One of the big key metrics is to understand how many people need this assistance, and so now volunteers are out doing that work because it is a big undertaking. Check out the numbers here so we can see what we're dealing with. At the latest count, according to the LA County Homelessness Services Authority, or LAHSA, in 2024, there were 75,312 homeless on the streets of the county. That does include the city of LA. That figure is down 0.3% compared to previous year. In the city of LA itself, the number is 45,252. That's down 2.2% from the year before. County and city leaders are criticized for how they're addressing homelessness. Some are even calling for LAHSA to be disbanded due to accountability issues and billions of dollars being spent, with auditors struggling to track where the money is going. In previous years, groups of volunteers set out on foot to perform this critical count. This year, they can input data into an app from their car. We're told they're looking for things like encampments, RVs, and other areas where it appears someone could be living, and they're also trying to count individuals. Volunteers say they worry many more people are on the brink of becoming homeless.
You know, some people, they're living with family, they're living with friends, they're looking for rentals, they can't find them.
Yeah, so our city needs to tackle this problem on many, many different levels.
It feels, you know, like sometimes a big problem that you can't really do anything about, but to be able to say that you were able to help in some small way, it feels good.
This is yet another major event delayed by the devastating wildfires last month. Advocates and volunteers also worry the loss created by those fires could lead to an increase in the homeless population. And it is such a big undertaking that the numbers will not be released until about spring or early summer. In Lincoln Heights, Rick Montanez, KCAL News.
Rick, thank you. Breaking news near Tucson, Arizona, where at least 10 people were killed in a collision involving two small planes. It's just the latest incident involving air travel. Meantime, we're now hearing from Delta's CEO as investigators piece together evidence from Monday's crash landing in Toronto. Here's new video from inside the plane that took off in Minneapolis. All 80 people on board survived, but 21 people were injured and 2 are still in the hospital. The plane's voice recorder and data recorder have been recovered. The airline CEO talked to CBS Mornings about what they're doing to ease passengers' concerns about air safety after the crash.
The reality is it's safer than the car ride I took this morning to get to my office. It is the safest form of transportation, period. And it's safe because in our industry, we all focus on safety, that we all work together. We learn from each other. Every single incident that happens, whether it's reported or not, gets reported back to our teams that we share across the industry. So we learn from each other, and this incident, as terrible as it appears, was something that we'll learn from. They'll make us better.
And the runway where the plane crashed is expected to remain closed through at least tomorrow evening. 7 months pregnant and sleeping in her car. Why this Eaton fire victim says she was shut out of a Red Cross shelter. And rebuild or sell? That's a question a lot of people, victims of the fires, are facing. Why some experts say rebuilding might not be the way to go. A pregnant woman who was forced to leave a Red Cross shelter in Pasadena has found a new place to stay for the next few days. Marina Morsi's apartment was damaged in the Eaton fire, and when she had to leave her shelter to visit a hospital for complications because she's pregnant, the shelter wouldn't let her back in. She was forced to sleep in her car, but a local church connected her with a nonprofit that got her a hotel room.
I'm feeling a lot better knowing that I can sleep safe tonight, and that my cat can sleep safe tonight, and that I'll be warm, and it's supposed to be for 5 days too, so that I will have opportunity to just like be able to sleep with my feet up. I'm kind of trepidatious about what in the future after 5 days what I'm gonna do, but I'm trying to take it a day at a time.
We reached out to the Red Cross and they responded with a statement saying, quote, "Once someone has checked out from the temporary emergency sheltering program, they are generally not eligible for readmittance." To rebuild or not rebuild? That's the question facing many fire victims. Mark Strassman spoke to a Pasadena firefighter who lost his home and learns his answer.
At Pasadena's Fire Station 39, we met Chen Yu.
Did you know you were fighting a losing battle?
Yeah, for sure.
He's an 18-year firefighting veteran.
No, keep going, no.
Yu showed us these videos he took from inside his fire engine last January 7th of LA's Eaton fire. For him, that losing battle turned personal.
It came to our neighborhood.
And you watched your neighborhood burn.
In the back of my mind, kind of just hoping that my house made it, you know. This would be where the front door was.
Yu took us to his house. It did not make it.
Initially, we're like, hey, maybe we could bring the kids back for closure, but they don't need this image.
He asked us to wear masks because of potential lingering airborne toxins and carcinogens. LA County had put out warnings about an unhealthy air quality. Also worrying Yu, his family of 4 lost everything.
Everything's basically gone.
And all these people you think will rebuild?
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
State and city leaders here are pushing for a quick rebuild of more than 15,000 burnt structures. Char Miller questions whether that makes sense.
When you put 10 million people in and around the fire zones, sometimes they get burned.
At Pomona College, Professor Miller's expertise is fire management in urban landscapes.
How much of Greater Los Angeles is at risk for fire?
It's virtually everywhere.
On this map, Miller showed us where America's exposed to wildfires.
We will begin to see fires in places that we haven't tended to see, so the grasslands in the Dakotas.
In California, the fire line trend line is unmistakable. Of the 20 biggest fires in state history, 19 have happened since 2003, 13 of them since 2017.
Would it be a huge mistake just to rebuild it the way it was?
If you build back exactly the same way, expect the exact same result.
Miller has another idea. State and local governments should buy out homeowners in the most fire-prone neighborhoods.
It's a buyback policy, going to people and saying, would you be willing to sell?
In 2017, Hurricane Harvey inundated Houston, a $125 billion disaster. Rather than rebuild in floodplains, the city used federal dollars to buy out more than 400 homeowners, demolish the properties, and use the land for flood control. LA's disaster toll more than doubled Houston's.
Without federal support, the buyback program is not realistic.
Yes, there's neither the political will, and we don't know about the money.
This is where we lived for almost 8 years, you know?
Another big ask, convincing homeowners to sell. Like many fire victims in Los Angeles, Chen Yu wants to rebuild right here.
And we want to be back. The kids want to be back, so...
You're going back?
We're going back. Yeah.
Back into neighborhoods scarred by fire that may be threatened again.
And that was Mark Strassman reporting. Also, don't forget, KCAL News is teaming up with Honda's Random Acts of Helpfulness for a donation drive to help children impacted by the fires. You can drop off new stuffed animals or new toiletries at any of the 55 SoCal Honda dealers through Sunday. And an update to our investigation into Starbucks recycling claims. The changes coming to the coffee chain after our report. Plus, another beautiful day across Southern California. Will the sun stick around for the rest of the week? Likely so, and it's going to be hot. Marina Jurica, she's back with your next weather forecast. We've got an update on a KCAL News investigation into Starbucks cups. Even though the coffee chain claimed the plastic cold cups were recyclable, we traced some of them to the landfill. KCAL senior reporter Ross Palumbo now with a major change after our report.
After our investigation, a major change. Starbucks is now replacing these plastic cups at select stores in California and several other states. This after we showed you what was happening with the current plastic cold cups. We tagged and tracked several of them, and we followed 2 environmental activists who did the same thing. Even though we all dropped them into recycling bins at Starbucks, we found a good portion wound up in landfills. Starbucks told us they simply can't control the entire process or control what happens after they leave the store. But now suddenly they say they're going to start using these compostable cups for cold drinks. Both the cups and the lids are made of fiber-based paperboard with a bioplastic liner that just rolled out in select markets across 14 states, including California.
I think it's a great start, and I'm thrilled that Starbucks is doing this. There's always more work to do, but I think it's important to start somewhere, and so I think starting the rollout in 14 states is a great start.
Well, again, these compostable cups are in select stores. Starbucks won't say exactly how many stores or where they are, but we do know that all of the Santa Monica stores down here in Southern California are using the paper ones now. Starbucks says it's doing it to comply with local mandates. There are no immediate plans to expand this across the entire country, but the environmentalists we spoke with say this is a great first step. I'm Ross Palumbo, KCAL News.
A pair of food banks in Southern California just got a valuable gift: eggs. The donation is the latest effort to help with food insecurity during a time that is still tough for a lot of people recovering from the region's wildfires. Rosemary Farms, based in Santa Maria, teamed up with their sister farm in South Dakota to bring down the delivery.
We're very grateful to Rosemary Farms for the donation of eggs, especially at this time when those are so valuable and so rare to come by. It's really important that we're providing nutritious food into the community, not just fighting hunger, but we're also fighting nutrition insecurity.
And the donated eggs should cover around 8,000 meals. Turning now to your weather, live look outside. Let's take a look. Beautiful Catalina, nice and sunny out there. Let's go to meteorologist Marina Jurica for your next weather forecast. Marina, we got some summer-like temps coming up.
We do. That's a beautiful look at Catalina, though. That's getting us ready for summer for sure. But taking a live look from Blue Ridge Mountain, it is beautiful. We've even still got some snow up there. I know I was at Big Bear on Monday, and it was really nice. And so we're not going to get a chance for any precipitation in the near future. It looks like we're going to be dry for quite some time and warming up. And we can definitely see that on our temperature change here. Over the last 24 hours, our next weather forecast is showing that we have bumped temps up to 11 degrees from yesterday at this time, and we'll feel it this afternoon. A lot of 70s throughout the Inland Empire and our valley locations, the Antelope Valley, and then we'll be looking at the mid to upper 60s along the coastline. And this is just the beginning. We're going to be looking at 80s for the inland areas this weekend, especially Sunday and Monday. Those will be our warmest days, so well above average for this time of year. 68 degrees is our average high. We'll hit 75 in the LA and OC Metro on Saturday, 77 on Sunday. So Chris, we got to make those outdoor plans.
There you go. All right, Marina, thank you so much. And thank you for watching KCAL News at 11:30.